The corner office was within reach. I could practically feel the leather of that executive chair, smell the success that came with the title, Vice President of Operations. 15 years of dedication, countless late nights, and a track record that spoke for itself. This promotion was mine. My name is Athena, and I was about to learn the hard way that merit means nothing when nepotism is in play. Everyone, please welcome our new Vice President of Operations, Steve announced, his voice dripping with pride. But he wasn't looking at me. His eyes were fixed on the door, where his son Chandler sauntered in, wearing a suit that probably cost more than my monthly salary. The coffee mug trembled in my hand. Chandler, fresh out of business school, barely 2 years at the company, and most of that spent on extended lunch breaks and golf outings with Daddy. I know Chandler will bring fresh perspectives to our leadership team. Steve continued, patting his son's shoulder. He's family, after all. The words hit like a slap. 15 years of loyalty reduced to nothing because I wasn't family. Athena, Steve called out, finally acknowledging my existence. You'll be instrumental in helping Chandler transition into his new role. Nobody knows operations better than you do. I forced a smile, years of professional polish preventing me from screaming. Of course, Steve. Happy to help. Camilla shot me a sympathetic glance from across the table, while Tiffany studied her manicure with sudden interest. The rest of the board avoided eye contact entirely. Actually, Chandler piped up, I was thinking we could review some of your processes, Athena. Dad says they're a bit outdated. My coffee mug hit the table with a sharp crack. Outdated? The word escaped before I could stop it. Fresh perspectives, remember? Steve interjected smoothly. Change is good for everyone. I watched them high-five as the meeting dispersed, father and son, their matching grins reflecting years of privileged certainty. My hands were shaking as I gathered my papers. Athena? Juliet, my mentor, touched my arm gently. Let's grab lunch. Thanks, but I have work to do. My voice sounded hollow even to my own ears. Back at my desk, I stared at the email I'd drafted last week, my planned acceptance speech for the promotion. The cursor blinked mockingly as I hit delete. A notification popped up. Meeting with VP Chandler, tomorrow 9 a.m. Topic, process review. Something inside me snapped. The loyal, patient, professional Athena died in that moment. In her place, a new version of me emerged, one who wouldn't just accept being cast aside. Steve wanted family business? Fine, I'd show him exactly how ugly family business could get. The parking garage was empty except for my car and Steve's Mercedes, the same spot he'd occupied for 20 years. I sat there, engine off, watching the security camera sweep back and forth above his precious vehicle. My phone buzzed. Juliet, you okay? Let's talk. Before I could respond, voices echoed through the concrete structure. I slumped down in my seat. Dad, are you sure about this? Chandler's voice. I mean, Athena knows everything about operations. That's exactly why we need to move quickly, Steve replied. Philip's coming back next week. If he talks to her about the contracts, keep your voice down. Steve's tone sharpened. Just do what I told you. Start reviewing her files tomorrow. Find something, anything, we can use to discredit her if needed. Their footsteps faded, but their words burned in my mind. Philip, Steve's former business partner who'd left abruptly 3 years ago. The same Philip who'd handed me a sealed envelope before he disappeared, saying, just in case you ever need leverage. I'd never opened it, loyal fool that I was. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was Camila. Drinks? You look like you need them. Can't tonight, I texted back. Rain check? At home, I tore through my filing cabinet until I found it. Philip's envelope slightly yellowed with age. Inside were copies of contracts, emails, and a handwritten note. Steve's not what he seems. These prove it. My hands shook as I read. The documents detailed systematic fraud, kickbacks, and cover-ups spanning years, but one name kept appearing: Tiffany. Our board member was deeper in this than I'd realized. My phone rang. Juliet again. "I know you're plotting something," she said when I answered. "Me? Never." "Athena, I've known you too long. Just be careful. Steve's ruthless when cornered." "Did you know?" I asked. "About Philip?" A long pause. "Come to my office first thing tomorrow, before your meeting with Chandler. There's something you need to know." After hanging up, I photographed every document, encrypted the files, and stored them in 3 different cloud locations. The originals went into my safe. A text from an unknown number lit up my phone. "Heard what happened. Time we talked. Philip." My heart raced as I typed back, "When and where?" His response came instantly. "Tomorrow night, the usual place." I smiled for the first time that day. Steve thought he could bury me under his son's incompetence. He had no idea what was coming. First, I'd play along with Chandler's process review. Then I'd start pulling threads until Steve's whole empire unraveled. "You're playing a dangerous game," Juliet warned, closing her office door. "Steve didn't just push Philip out, he destroyed him." "I can handle Steve." "Can you?" She leaned forward. "Because Camilla thought the same thing last year. Now she's Steve's most loyal defender. Funny how that works." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Chandler was waiting. I found him in my office, rifling through my files. "Making yourself at home?" He jumped. "Just getting familiar with everything." "Of course." I sat down, noting the open drawer he'd hastily closed. "What would you like to review first?" "The Miller contract. Dad says there were irregularities." My pulse quickened. The Miller contract, one of the documents in Philip's envelope. "Irregularities?" "Just some questions about the numbers." He fumbled with his tablet. "And your relationship with their CEO." "Excuse me?" A knock interrupted us. Camilla stood in the doorway, perfectly poised. "Sorry to interrupt. Athena, got a minute?" In the hallway, she gripped my arm. "Whatever you're planning, stop. Now." "I don't know what you mean." "Please." Her voice cracked. "I saw you with Philip's envelope yesterday. Don't make my mistake." "What mistake?" She glanced around nervously. "Last year, I found similar documents. Tried to expose Steve. Then he showed me what happens to whistleblowers." She pulled up her sleeve, revealing a thin scar. "Some random mugging." My stomach churned, but before I could respond, Tiffany rounded the corner. "Ladies," she smiled, all teeth. "Interesting conversation?" Camilla practically ran away. "Athena," Tiffany purred, "join me for coffee?" The cafe was crowded, but Tiffany chose a secluded corner. "I know what you have." "Do you?" Philip was always predictable, always kept evidence. She stirred her latte. "The question is, what are you going to do with it?" "What did you do with yours?" Her smile widened. "Smart girl. Let's just say my board position wasn't earned through merit alone." My phone buzzed, a text from Philip. "Meeting canceled, they know." Tiffany watched my reaction. "Problems?" "Not at all." I stood up. "Thanks for the coffee." Back at my desk, an email waited. "Mandatory performance review. Tomorrow 2 p.m. Steve Sanderson." Below it, another message from an anonymous account. "Last chance to play nice. Ask Camilla what happens if you don't." I opened my drawer. The files I'd been reviewing were subtly rearranged. Someone had been searching while I was out. The game was getting dangerous, but I was done playing nice. The diner was empty except for one man hunched over coffee. Philip looked older, grayer, but his eyes still held that sharp intelligence. "You shouldn't have come," he said as I slid into the booth. "They're already threatening me. What's left to lose?" He pushed a USB drive across the table. Everything. That's what I lost. What happened? Steve happened. Remember that merger 3 years ago? The one that made headlines? Philip's hands shook. It wasn't just fraud. People died, Athena. Accidents, like the brake failure that killed my wife. My blood ran cold. You can't prove that. It's all there. He nodded at the drive, along with proof of Tiffany's involvement. She's not just complicit, she orchestrated half of it. A bell chimed as the diner door opened. Camila walked in, followed by two men in dark suits. I'm sorry, she mouthed. Philip grabbed my arm. Back door, now! We burst into the alley as footsteps pounded behind us. Philip shoved me toward his car. Get in. What about you? I'll hold them off. The password is redemption. Don't trust anyone, especially not Juliet. Juliet, but go. I peeled out of the alley, watching in my rearview mirror as the men caught up to Philip. My phone exploded with notifications. Steve, performance review moved up, 9 a.m. tomorrow. Chandler, where are the Miller files? Juliet, we need to talk, urgent. At home, I locked every door and window before plugging in the drive. The password worked, revealing hundreds of files, emails, photos, financial records, and security footage from the night of the merger, showing Juliet entering Steve's office with a folder marked Cleanup, my mentor, my friend, another betrayal. A new email popped up from an anonymous sender, footage from tonight attached. The video showed Philip being forced into a black SUV. Below it, a message. Your move. My phone rang. Tiffany. Quite a show tonight, she said, but pointless. We already have Philip. What do you want? Bring everything to Steve's office tomorrow, 9 a.m. All copies, all devices. Or Philip has another accident. And if I go public? She laughed. With what proof? Check your cloud accounts. I did. Everything was gone, except the USB drive sitting on my desk. See you tomorrow, Athena. Oh, and those men outside your house, don't try anything stupid. I peeked through the blinds. The black SUV was parked across the street. They thought they had me cornered, but they'd forgotten one thing. I still had Chandler's login credentials from our process review. Time to see what Daddy's golden boy had in his private files. Chandler's files were a gold mine. The idiot had kept everything, including recordings of his conversations with Steve. Dad, this is wrong, Chandler's voice played through my headphones. Threatening Camila? Having Philip followed? It's business, Steve replied. Besides, you're benefiting from it, aren't you? A knock at my door made me jump. Through the peephole, Juliet. I know you're in there, she called. We need to talk. I opened the door but blocked the entrance. About the merger cleanup? Her face fell. You know. Why? Because Steve offered me everything I wanted. She stepped closer. He can offer you the same. Just give him what he wants. Like you gave him Philip's wife? She flinched. That wasn't supposed to happen. Get out. Athena, now. As she left, my phone buzzed. A text from Chandler. Need to see you. Alone. It's about Dad. I replied. Parking garage. 10 minutes. The garage was dark. Chandler paced near my usual spot, jumping when I approached. They're going to kill Philip, he blurted. Dad's lost it. He's meeting with some guys tonight at the Westbrook Hotel. Why tell me? Because I found Mom's real autopsy report. His voice cracked. Her heart attack 3 years ago? Dad arranged it. She was going to expose him. My phone chimed. An email from Tiffany to the board. Emergency meeting tomorrow. Subject, Athena's termination. They're moving fast, Chandler said. Dad's scared of what you might know. What about you? Scared of losing your promotion? I never wanted it. Dad forced me, said he needed someone he could trust. Footsteps echoed. We spun around to find Camila. Don't trust him, she warned. This is a setup. Chandler backed away. No, I swear. Show her your phone, Camilla demanded. When he hesitated, I grabbed it. His last text. She took the bait. Garage now. I'm sorry, he whispered. They have my girlfriend. Headlights flooded the garage. The black SUV. Run! Camilla shoved me toward the stairs. I sprinted up, hearing shouts below. Bursting onto the street, I ran 3 blocks before ducking into a coffee shop. My hands shook as I pulled out my phone. The recording of Chandler and Steve was still uploading to the board's shared drive. A new email arrived from Philip's account. Still alive, Westbrook Hotel, room 7112. Help. It had to be a trap, but if there was any chance. My phone buzzed again. Tiffany. You've got 1 hour, then Philip dies, and you're next. I had to choose, run and save myself, or risk everything to save Philip. The answer was clear. I called a number I'd hoped never to use. Hello? Answered Tiffany's husband. Athena? What's this about my wife's offshore accounts? Where did you get this? Tiffany's husband demanded, staring at the bank statements I'd forwarded. Same place I got the photos of her and Steve from last month's business trip. His face reddened. That's why she's been pushing for a divorce. Help me, and I'll give you everything. He pulled out his phone. What do you need? 20 minutes later, I walked into the Westbrook Hotel lobby. Tiffany was waiting. You're either brave or stupid, she said. Maybe both, but your husband says hi. Her smirk vanished. What? He's very interested in your retirement plans, especially the ones with Steve. You're bluffing. My phone dinged. I showed her the screen, her husband's message. Divorce papers filed, accounts frozen. You little Philip, now. She grabbed my arm, nails digging in. Room 712, but you're making a mistake. The elevator ride was silent. Down the hall, 2 men in suits stood guard. She's clear, Tiffany snapped. Room 711 smelled of cigarettes and fear. Philip sat handcuffed to a chair, face bruised but alive. I told you not to come, he croaked. Shut up, Steve emerged from the bathroom. Athena, finally ready to be reasonable? Actually, I held up my phone. I'm live streaming to the board right now. Steve laughed. No signal. We jammed it. Check your email. He did. His face went white. There it was, every incriminating file, every recording, sent to the board, the FBI, and major news outlets. That's impossible. We wiped your accounts. You did, but Chandler's guilt got the better of him. He copied everything first. You're lying. My son wouldn't. Dad? Chandler stepped out of the bathroom. I'm sorry. I couldn't. Mom deserved better. Steve lunged for me, but the door burst open. FBI agents poured in. Steven Sanderson, one announced, you're under arrest. As they led Steve away, he snarled, You'll regret this, all of you. Tiffany tried slipping out but was caught. This isn't over, she spat. Philip was freed and rushed to hospital. Chandler gave a full statement to the FBI. Later, in the hotel bar, Camilla found me. You knew I was working with the FBI, she said. I nodded. Since the garage, no one that loyal to Steve would warn me. What now? My phone buzzed. A message from the board. Emergency meeting tomorrow. Subject, new executive appointments. Now? I smiled. Now we rebuild. The right way. But first, I had one more stop to make. Juliet needed to learn that karma works in mysterious ways. The boardroom crackled with tension. Every seat was filled, except Steve's and Tiffany's. Before we begin, I stood, placing Philip's USB drive on the table. You should know everything. For the next hour, I laid it bare. The merger deaths, the kickbacks, the threats. With each revelation, faces grew paler. Ms. Juliet, I turned to my former mentor, would you like to explain the cleanup folder? She stood shakily. I was protecting the company. By covering up murders? That's not. Her phone buzzed. She checked it and went white. How did you get my private files? The same way you got mine. I smiled, though I had help from the FBI's cyber unit. The boardroom door opened. 2 agents entered. Juliet, one announced, you're under arrest for conspiracy and obstruction of justice. You can't do this. She struggled as they cuffed her. I built this company. On bodies, Philip said from the doorway. Despite his bruises, he stood tall, including my wife's. As Juliet was let out, Chandler spoke up. What happens to the company? That's why we're here, the board chairman said. We need new leadership, someone with integrity who knows operations inside and out. All eyes turned to me. Athena, he continued, we'd like to offer you the position of CEO. No. The room froze. Not unless we make real changes, full transparency, ethics oversight, and, I looked at Chandler, a foundation in memory of those we lost. Including my mother? Chandler asked softly. Especially her. The chairman nodded. Motion to approve? Every hand raised. One more thing, I added. Camilla deserves the VP position. She risked everything working undercover with the FBI. Agreed, the chairman said. And Chandler? I'm stepping down, Chandler announced. Going back to school, maybe law school. Someone needs to protect whistleblowers. My phone buzzed. A news alert. Tech CEO arrested. Fraud and murder charges filed. Another message followed from Philip. Justice at last. Thank you. The chairman stood. Shall we announce the changes? In the lobby, reporters waited. Cameras flashed as I approached the podium, Camila and Philip flanking me. Today marks a new chapter, I began. One built on truth, not fear, on merit, not nepotism. A reporter shouted, What about Steve's claims you orchestrated his downfall? I didn't orchestrate anything, I replied. I just shone a light on the darkness. The truth did the rest. Later, clearing out Steve's office, I found a photo of him and Chandler. Behind it, a hidden wall safe stood open, empty except for a note. You won this round, but I'll be back. S. I smiled, took a picture, and sent it to the FBI. Let him try. The corner office was finally mine, but more importantly, it was earned. The courtroom fell silent as Steve was led in, handcuffed and wearing orange. His eyes locked with mine in the front row. All rise, the bailiff called. The judge reviewed the papers before her. Multiple counts of fraud, conspiracy, and second-degree murder. How do you plead? Guilty, Steve muttered. The word echoed through the chamber. Victim impact statements began. Philip spoke about his wife, Chandler about his mother. When my turn came, I stood slowly. I'm not here as a victim, I said. I'm here as a witness to the poison of unchecked power. Steve didn't just kill people, he killed trust, hope, and dignity. Steve's shoulders slumped as the judge delivered his sentence. 30 years. Outside the courthouse, Camilla waited with coffee. Ready for the board meeting? Almost. There's something I need to do first. I found Chandler at his mother's grave, placing fresh flowers. The foundation launches tomorrow, I told him. We're naming it after her. She would have liked that. He stood. Dad's lawyer called. He wants to see me. Are you going? No. Some family ties need to be cut. Back at the office, the changes were visible. Glass walls replaced solid ones. The ethics hotline number displayed prominently. Employees walked with straight backs and met my eyes. The boardroom, now on the first floor, accessible to all, was packed for the foundation launch. Philip sat beside his wife's photo on the wall of remembrance. Today, I addressed the room, we honor those who paid the ultimate price for corporate greed, but we also celebrate new beginnings. Camilla presented the first Whistleblower Protection Scholarship. Tiffany's husband, now a board member, announced new transparency initiatives. My phone buzzed, a message from Juliet's prison email. "You've destroyed everything." I replied, "No, I rebuilt it, better." That evening, clearing my desk, I found an old photo, my first day at the company. Young, hopeful, naive. I pinned it up as a reminder. A knock at my door. "Miss CEO?" My assistant smiled. "Your last appointment is here." A young woman entered, resume in hand, eyes bright with ambition. "So," I said, "tell me why you want to work here." "Because," she straightened, "I heard this is where merit matters more than connections." I thought of Steve's empty threats, of Tiffany's frozen accounts, of Juliet's guilty plea, of all the battles fought to make this moment possible. "You heard right," I smiled. "When can you start?" Through my office window, I watched the sunset paint the sky. Not from the corner office. I'd given that to the daycare center. My office was right where it belonged, among the people who made this company work. The view was better here anyway.